just looking at me.
Yeah.
Okay, we're rolling. If we can have a name and tell us where we are.
Right, I'm Andrea, family member from Wolverhampton.
Don't look at me at all.
No. You were asking the questions, I'm looking at you.
Look at me now. So, Andrea, what circumstances led you feeling you needed help?
My mother had been ill for about 3 years, but she got a lot worse and was admitted to hospital. And when she came out of hospital, it was very apparent that she needed more help than she'd been having. She'd been managing on her own.
Okay, start again.
Do it again.
Okay, exactly.
Okay.
It's okay, carry on.
Go on. Got your water problem sorted?
I'll leave you to it.
Okay. Okay. So what circumstances led to you feeling you needed help?
My mother... Oh, sorry, I've done it wrong, haven't I?
No,
I
no.
need to say the circumstances
Yeah,
that...
that's fine, yeah.
Right, okay, shall I start again?
Yeah.
The circumstances that led me to look for help was my mother had been ill for about 3 years, on and off, but she'd got a lot worse having had a hospital admission, and it was obvious that she needed more help. She had help initially from social services through a rehabilitation programme, but it was obvious at the end of that she wasn't going to manage independently. So that's when we looked for other help, really, help from an agency.
And how did you feel about asking for support?
I felt asking support through Home Instead was very easy. When I looked at other agencies, it wasn't so easy.
And why did you choose Home Starter Care? So why did you choose Home Instead Senior Care?
I chose, along with my sister, we chose Home Instead. We'd looked at other agencies and had not found the approach very easy, in the sense that a lot of the agencies, either you would ring up and they didn't really want to know about mum. You were just, it was almost like a call centre set up, and they wouldn't give you information until they had direct contact with you and came to see you. And all I wanted was fact-finding initially. Another agency I phoned up and I asked lots of questions, but they seemed pretty disinterested and didn't really ask anything about my mum. When I rang Home Instead, the overwhelming feeling that I got on initial contact on that telephone conversation was an overwhelming desire to help and an overwhelming feeling.
Can we go back to the overwhelming feeling? Just start with overwhelming.
What did I say before that?
The overwhelming feeling was?
The overwhelming feeling was that they cared, and that was very obvious right from the outset. They asked lots of questions about my mother, her situation, her health, what would be her needs, and there was no pressure right from the start. And then when we saw her, the lady that came out to see us, again, that just sold it to us, because we'd had a couple of other people out, neither of which we liked, and my mother certainly didn't like, and my sister and I didn't like.
And how did your mum feel about receiving care?
My mother initially wasn't very keen on the idea of having help, and she'd resisted help for a very long time.
Just because of the traffic, could I ask you to start that again?
Yes, of course.
And how did your mum feel about receiving care?
My mother initially didn't feel very comfortable having care. That was really from when she was discharged from hospital. She got used to the idea, but then having somebody new in after the social services team left, the rehabilitation team left, it was obviously a new start, but I think she felt very reassured by the attitude that there was from the start, and certainly meeting the caregivers before they started was a huge bonus to Mum and to us, because we just felt yes, we're in safe hands, and Mum's going to be looked after.
And how has Home Instead made a difference to your family?
Home Instead has made a difference to our family in the sense that my mother passed away earlier on this year, but the few months before she died, it meant that she was able to stay at home, and that was entirely due to the help that she had through Home Instead.
Just about to say
The car, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do the whole thing again if we can.
Okay.
Okay.
Active.
Okay. Do you know what? When we were setting up, not one car came.
I know, it's really good. This is a good office, isn't it? Nice and quiet.
So, Andrea, how has Home Instead made a difference to your family?
Home Instead has made a difference to our family. That was a big bang,
Right,
wasn't it?
Come through!
Oh, and there's a lorry as well. There you go.
Huge Carlsberg lorry as well.
Another car.
Okay.
Okay. So, how has Home Instead made a difference to your family?
Home Instead has made a difference to our...
Starting when it's stop when the traffic stops.
Sorry.
Home Instead has made a difference to our family in the sense that my mother passed away earlier on this year, but the preceding few months...
Wait a minute.
Somebody's on the toilet.
Where were we?
Sorry, that was
it-
me
Was
about
it
that.
Wimbledon? And we were here, and the office staff were next door. And we could hear one of them eating crisps.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
No.
And we opened the door and said, "You're eating crisps." Didn't think you liked one.
Gosh,
That
it
was
picks up everything, doesn't
so
it?
sensitive.
Mm.
It is very sensitive. So has it made a big difference to you then, having Home Instead?
I mean, as I say, Mum passed away in March, and the fact that, I mean, I was going over every day. I live in Stourbridge, and it's just about 35-40 minutes away. I've got 2 young children, but I still went and saw Mum every day because that's what I needed to do, because I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
But the fact that they just went over and beyond really what another agency would have done. Their attitude was different, and it just gave you a sense of it's okay, you know, Mum's being looked after. In the snow, I'd cancelled the call because I was going to go over there, and I rang Pram and I said, look, I can't get over there because of the weather, and he said, don't worry, we'll sort something out. And sure enough, they got one of her usual carers to come in.
Yeah.
So
It's an important knock, isn't it?
Sorry.
hello, Julie.
So sorry about that. I thought she was on here.
Oh, it's you two driving.
Yeah, it's on you. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't you care?
Yeah, we just got a couple more questions for you.
So I've inadvertently unplugged the internet access, I think, right?
It won't be long, Rob. If you could just ask people just be quiet.
That should be okay then. Let's try it.
So, Andrea, how has Home Instead made a difference to your family?
Home Instead has made a difference to our family because our mother passed away earlier on this year, but Home Instead for us gave us peace of mind and the confidence of knowing that Julie and Pram and the team would be there to look after Mum when she was very obviously unwell, and it meant that she could be at home and that we could relax knowing that if there was a problem they'd be there. For instance, Mum had a fall and I got a telephone call from the caregiver who told me what was happening. I couldn't get there straight away. I live 40 minutes away. And this caregiver stayed with her. This was 6 o'clock when she rang, and she stayed with her until she'd done her tea time call and then stayed on to do her bedtime call. So she was there until 9:45 that night. And that is above and beyond anything that anyone else would have done. I'm absolutely sure of that, because of the time factor.
And that, leading on that, has it made a difference to you and your family?
To me and my family, we had peace of mind knowing them that was well looked after during what was a very difficult few months for us as a family. Okay.
So, what difference has it made to you?
It's made a difference to me and my family in the sense that...
Do you know what? You know, when we relaxed before, you answered a lot of the questions now.
I know.
I know.
Let's do it again formally.
Yeah.
We'll do it formally.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. So, what difference has it made to you?
It's made a difference to me in the sense that Mum passed away. Oh, there's traffic.
Just go straight into it.
It made a difference to me and my family because we were able to know that Mum was being looked after and she was in safe hands, and it gave me especially and my sister peace of mind knowing that she was having good care in what were a very difficult few months for my mum and for us, knowing that she was so poorly.
That's good. That's fine.
That's all I wanted to say, really.
That's fine.
Is that everything?
That's everything.
Really?
What we should ask you is,
is
there anything that you wanted to say?
So
there is, I did. Yeah.
Well, if there's something you want to say specifically that yourself and you feel,
I do.
Very
definitely.
You just say that.
Yeah.
You know,
Home Instead, to me, represents everything that a care agency should be. The first and foremost thing is that they care. The overriding impression right from the start is that they care. They want to help and they go above and beyond what they should be doing because they care. They offer to help, really. They go the extra mile and make a huge difference to our peace of mind. And the little extras that they did with Mum gave Mum a much better quality of life, and it meant that she could be independent and safe in her home and knowing that she got people that really cared about her.
Just the last bit.
The last bit, yeah. What was...
She could be safe in her own home, or stay in her own home.
It meant that she could be... It meant that she could be safe in her own home and independent as she could be. That wasn't very good. Okay. There's another car coming. Home Instead meant that she could be safe at home and being looked after, and giving Mum the care that they did meant that Mum could be as happy as she could be in the circumstances, and that gave her security and peace of mind and the feeling of safety. And again, for us, me and my family and my sister's family as well, and my sister, made a huge difference.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, well, that's why I wanted to do it, because questions are awkward because they're structured.
It's got to come from...
It just made the difference knowing that somebody was there with her. She wasn't going to rush off saying, "Oh, I've got to go now." You know, she was there for Mum, and she wasn't going to rush off. Mum was being looked after. I got there and I said, "Oh, you go. You know, you've been here long enough." No. I'll make sure she gets to bed. We'll get her upstairs together, and she did.
Peace of mind for you, isn't it?
just above and beyond anything that we'd expected and hoped for. And I know Mum really appreciated it. It was very difficult for Mum because she was obviously so ill, but the things that they did, the extra little things that they did, just made a huge difference.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. They are nice people.
Oh, they are.
Nice.
Yeah, well, they're in it for the right reasons. That's the thing.
We all are. I mean, my job, I work for the National Office, so I do all help on the marketing and project, but I've run 2 offices myself.
Oh wow, right.
So I know exactly where you're coming from, and it's quality of care that we give.
The thing is, I would say the other people that I contacted, they were just, it was all run of the mill. They weren't there to really care. You know, their voice, it was like, well, how much do you charge? You know, what could you do? How could you tailor it? All those sorts of things. You know, it was kind of, oh, we can't tell you. Sorry, we'd love to be able to tell you that, but we can't tell you that over the phone. We need to speak to you face to face. And I said, I just want some initial information. I'm sorry, we'll have to do that face to face. And I thought, forget that for a game of soldiers. It was like a call centre. You could hear people in the background on other calls.
Yeah, it wouldn't be, yeah.
And then the other one I contacted, she just sounded like I'd interrupted her. She was obviously busy with something else and couldn't really be bothered. So, and again, she didn't ask anything about Mum. She didn't want to know Mum's situation, what was wrong with her. You know, my mum was just so precious. And you want to know that the people that are looking after your mum are there with that intention. It's like, as Pram and Julie say, it's kind of, they want to look after people as if it's, you know, a member of their family, and that's the thing. That's what comes across. And all the caregivers, you know, they were just great. You know, they formed such a good rapport with Mum. They had a lovely rapport, and they all, in their own ways, just went the extra mile, and they had a laugh and a joke with her, and just lighten the load a bit for her. Yeah.
And Mum was happy.
As happy as she could be. She knew what was happening and she didn't want to die. That's the problem, you know. But, you know, they were there for her.
So how old are the children now?
Millie is, she was 5 a week ago, and Megan is 8.
Oh, you've got plenty of problems, haven't you?
Yeah.
Mine's 16.